Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Storm Trackers. It is Thursday night, just after 9 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining me. You're looking around probably seeing, hey, this looks a little different tonight than what we normally do on Facebook Live. But we're trying this out tonight. Number one, to have some new graphics so you can see the graphics that I'm talking about a little bit bigger. I hope that those are a little bit clearer and you can see those a little bit better. But we're also able now to not only do this on Facebook Live, but we're also streaming now on YouTube, on our webpage, and on our 11 Alive app. So I hope you like it. But by doing this, I'm still able to have that conversation with you, a two-way conversation, by still seeing the comments here too. So I can see folks have been commenting. Wanda says, hey Chris, watching from Douglasville. We also have Brenda saying, good evening, Chris. Vicky says good evening as well in Gainesville. So a lot of folks are on tonight watching. So before I get to some of the comments though, I want to just break down what is happening out there weather-wise. And we had a really nice day out there today. Started off with a few clouds around, but those clouds have now moved away. You can see here on the graphics with that radar image that the clouds have moved away. The rain is gone. We'll widen out just a little bit. And you can see the rain is down in these areas here, right around southeast Georgia, where we have those showers around, and they're moving into the coastal region, also into parts of the Carolinas too. But we are much drier here in our area now as that front has moved through. That also brought us some cooler air. Yesterday we had a high of 77. Today's high was 68, so we were running a lot cooler today than we were yesterday, but 68 is right where we should be here for this time of year. What about the pollen? Has that been getting you today? Maybe you saw it on your car. I know my car has plenty of little drops on it, or from the raindrops that dried up and made little circles of pollen on my car. So many of you have probably been seeing that as well. Here's the pollen count today. 987. That is the highest count that we have had so far this year, but it is also most likely not the highest count that we're going to have this year so far, because we are going to definitely get into the thousands. In the past we've had pollen counts as high as 9,000. That's how many pollen particles are in a cubic meter of air. So the pollen count today was very warm, and you would think with some of the rain that we had it would knock it down, but really I just think we had enough rain yesterday and during those storms the night before just to kind of stir things up just for a little bit. And yesterday's high temperature in the 70s kind of helped those pollen numbers to get up so high. So what are we going to be watching as we move through the next few days? Well, let's look at temperatures right now. We are cooling down out there tonight, and you'll see these temperatures here in our area now are in the 60s in some spots that have moved away now. Athens just barely below 60 degrees. It's 59 degrees there now. Also in Eatonton it's 59, Covington 59. We're 58 here in Atlanta. So we're in the 50s now in the 9 o'clock hour. These temperatures are going to continue to fall as we go through the overnight hours as well. In fact, you can see that here as I show you the hour by hour outlook overnight. We're going to be moving from those 50s into the mid 50s and then 40s here by tomorrow morning. And it's going to be a cool start here in the morning. So, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Okay, so Andrew's here with me. This is not perfect TV here that we're doing right now. We're just kind of seeing some behind the scenes stuff that we're doing, but Andrew's passing me a note about, reminding me about something that I'm supposed to do in a little bit. So there's a look at that forecast track showing those temperatures that will be falling as we go through the overnight hours, and it's going to be a cool start, but it's going to be dry. We'll have just a few clouds around early tomorrow morning. There is a cold front that's moving our way. It's a weak front. It has limited moisture with it. So let me show you what we think this is going to do for us during the day tomorrow. It's going to move our way. We'll have a few more clouds around. And I really think that most of us will make it through the day tomorrow without seeing any rain at all. But here's the forecast track. This is at 7 o'clock in the morning, showing a few clouds around. You're not seeing a lot of green here on the forecast track right now. And that's just because we're expecting just a couple little spotty showers. Nothing really major at all. Here we are at noon, and then once we go through the afternoon hour, see, not a lot of rain showing up here at all. So we're just going with a really low rain chance, just in case a few folks with this front coming in and limited moisture, you might get a couple little showers around. But the main thing is going to be the sunshine mixing in with a few clouds during the day. Then what this front is going to do is it's not really a really cold front. It's just going to reinforce the cooler air that we have in our area. And this is for early on Saturday morning. We're going to start off with temperatures in the mid 40s again. And then in the afternoon, only in the 60s. Plenty of sunshine here on Saturday. Going to be a really nice day, but just temperatures trending a little bit lower than where we should be for this time of year, in the lower 60s. And then Sunday morning, we're going to start off with temperatures that move down into the 30s. We're thinking we're going to be around 39 degrees here on Sunday morning. And here you can see the graphics showing those dry conditions. Sunday looking good. Monday, we're going to go with an 11 on the wasometer. We do think we'll make it back into the lower 70s with mostly sunny skies. Then we'll focus on the next system that will not only bring us rain, but also the potential for some storms as we head into Thursday. You see that here on the maps right now, showing that rain coming in. It is too early to tell whether or not these would be severe. We are watching what we call the CAPE, the convective available potential energy with that. It's ramping up a little bit. There might be enough instability with this next Thursday that we could have some storms around. But of course, that's 7 days out. So we'll be keeping you posted on that as we go through the next few days. Let me see what a couple of comments are saying here. I'm just going to read these just coming in live. Deborah says, when can I put potted plants on my covered front porch? So if it's potted plants, I would think you could, just as long as it's not too much trouble to bring them in and out. But put them out during the day and on these mild nights. But, on the day that it gets down, Sunday morning, it's going to get down to 39. In the outlying areas, I do think it'll be a little cooler than that. And while I don't think we'll make it to freezing, it may be cold enough for some frost to develop, and that could damage that. So with potted plants, put them out there, and just when we get these colder mornings, bring them back in. The issue that I would tell people to stay away from right now is don't be tempted to plant summer annuals yet, and even some of your vegetables. I know a lot of folks are really anxious to get those vegetables out. Sometimes they do seedlings early on and maybe grow those inside and then plant them outside. I don't do anything until after tax day on April 15th. That kind of goes beyond the last average freeze. But we often get a lot of late freezes that come in. So I don't ever plan anything until after tax day on April 15th, and hopefully that covers you a little bit better though. Trudy says hello. Let's see here. Joanna says, hey Chris, thanks for your help on the cloud pictures I sent you yesterday. Oh, you're welcome. Cindy says, I love the new layout. I'm glad you like that, Cindy. Thank you so much. Tiffany says, my family and I had a lot of pollen dust all over the Dodge Durango van and pollen dust over the Sonata car as well. So yeah, there's plenty of pollen out there. Let me show you guys the calendar. You'll be able to see this a little bit better behind me. If I was doing this the old-fashioned way, it would be kind of hard to see in the monitor, but you'll be able to see this in the graphic here beside me. This is a look at the month of March, where we have had about 9 high pollen days. We haven't had any extreme pollen days. That's when the pollen count is over 1,500. We haven't had that yet. We've had 2 low days, 2 moderate days, and 9 high days so far. And as you can see, that 987 is the highest for the month, also the highest so far this year. We did have a high day, I think in the 800s back in February. That was on one of those days when temperatures made it up into the 70s. So a really high pollen count today. And this is just the beginning. I want to show you guys the records. Let me call this up here because I don't have this in my show. I want to show it to you really quick. This will show up as well. So take a look at these records where our highest pollen count on record is 9,369. That was on March 20th of 2012. Then the second highest pollen count on record is 8,918 at the end of March of 2020. All right, that was just a couple of years ago. And then before that, it was 8,165 in 2012, 8,024 in 2013, and then 7,809 in 2013. And those were in April dates. So we usually peak here at the end of March and beginning of April. A lot of times when people go on spring break that first week of March, that's when we see those higher pollen counts. In the control room, I think when y'all centered me up, now I'm hanging off the box on this broadcast. So y'all might need to put me back in the center, so I'm back in the box. There we go. Don't worry about the graphics behind me because they're showing up in the thing. So this is just decoration behind me. But yeah, center me back up in the box there. So anyway, again, we're just trying this out tonight to see how it works. So we're communicating with our directors. There we go. To make sure that it's working well for you guys, and you're getting a good viewer experience with this too. So that's a look at the pollen, and even though we've had the highest count so far this year today, that was so high, we know it's going to get higher, and we'll be seeing those higher counts over the next few days. So that is a look at the pollen. Let me show you what else we're going to be watching with that rain chance coming in this week. We're really going to be in a dry pattern. I'll show you that really low chance that we have tomorrow at only 20%. Here's a look at the rain potential totals, and it's not really impressive. So if anybody gets any rain here tomorrow, you see that? That's only showing a little bit of light green over parts of North Georgia, which is less than a ½ inch, and I really think it'd be really way less than a ½ inch. So we're only thinking about maybe just a few scattered showers here. Neil says, hey, this is a cool new format. I'm glad you like it, Neil. Deborah says it looks great. Jimmy says, Grandpa says, don't ever plan anything before Easter. And that's also a good thing, but sometimes Easter is in March. Easter is never the same date every year, and it fluctuates a little bit on the calendar. So if you use that Easter rule, sometimes in March, if it's Easter, that might be too early. So that's why I always say April 15th on tax day, because that gets us well beyond the date of the average last freeze. I mean, we could still freeze or get frost after that, but the chances are a lot lower. So I get people every year who say, oh man, I put out my tomatoes already and it's going to freeze. And a lot of times around Easter, people have their kids in their little sundresses and stuff, and they end up having to get a coat for them because we always get these last minute or late cold snaps that come in. And I just hate to see people having to go out and mulch and cover up all their stuff. So just be aware of that. Claire says, love the new format, hate the pollen. Neil says, do we have high pressure right now? Yes, high pressure is over us now, but another front is coming in. So a lot of times if you're feeling that in your bones or anything, it's when you get the change in pressure if a front comes in. If you're going from high to low, whatever, you can feel that in your body. So that happens sometimes too. Tiffany says, love the format. Donna says, love the format. So yeah, we've tried this before and we got a little bit of mixed reaction. I think people like it because they can see the graphics a little bit better, but some people say that it's not as personal, but I still think we can make it personal because I'm still reading the comments and everything that you have here as well. So let's go back to radar. I want to show you guys what we're watching here with that moisture that is well down to the south. Now, I don't know if your yard is like mine, but my yard is very soggy right now. Whenever I'm in the backyard or the front yard, I feel like, I'm trudging through a little bit of mud out there under the grass. And so I'm sure you're not surprised that our drought monitor is not showing any drought here in Metro Atlanta or North Georgia. This updates every Thursday. And so whenever we start to feel a little bit dry, of course, I'll let y'all know what's going on. But as you can see, North Georgia, Metro Atlanta is not in any drought condition at all. But once you move down into Central Georgia and down into South Georgia, we do have the yellow color shows abnormally dry conditions. And then that tan color down along the coast shows moderate drought. So that is in those areas down to the south of us. And it could grow our way, but right now we're running about 1.25 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year here in Atlanta. They just have some deficits down to the south, and we're actually looking pretty good right now. So as long as we can just keep getting some rain systems coming in and not have these long stretches where we start to go back to below average and the soil moisture gets out of the ground and we start getting drought conditions. And we've got a dry pattern setting up over the next few days, but we do think, actually next Thursday, but we do think that'll give us some good rain that hopefully would keep us out of the drought conditions here in our area. Let me show you what we're watching though. We've got some cool air in place. Here's a look at the upper level pattern where you can see the cool air that is trying to move into our area right now. And that's going to give us below average temperatures as we move through the next few days. Tomorrow's high is going to be around 62. We'll be in the mid and low 60s here for the weekend. And remember, average high for this time of year is 68. So there you see on Saturday, the cooler air over us kind of spilling in from the north behind that front that's coming in tomorrow. That's really just going to be a reinforcing shot of cooler air that moves our way. And then that's going to be with us Sunday as well. Once we get into next week, though, watch that cooler air as it starts to retreat and move back to the north, and then look what's going to replace it. From the west, we have this warmer air that's going to keep moving on in here. We'll see our temperatures on Tuesday moving back into the upper 70s. On Wednesday, we may even hit 80 degrees for a high temperature, and you can see that southerly flow that we're going to have here in our area. So it is going to be really warm, and then there's another surge of cooler air that's going to try to make it our way by the end of the week, and that's that Thursday where we have the potential for rain, and it's that that air mass, the warm air mass being replaced by the cool air mass that might generate some, not only showers, but maybe some strong storms coming up next Thursday. Again, not calling for severe weather yet, but this is something we're looking at. We're seeing some of the ingredients that may be coming together for that. And I can show you here the moisture content in the air as well. Where you can see the dry air, the purple color shows the dry air that we have in place over us right now. It'll stay dry through the weekend. Again, that really low risk for a 20% chance for a shower tomorrow. Through next week, we start dry at the beginning of the week. There's that moisture in that next system that is building from the west that'll sweep through here, and that's on Thursday. And then after that, it looks like we should dry out a little bit and maybe cool off again as we head into next weekend as well. Jennifer says, beautiful weekend for Sprayberry High School prom. Yeah, it will be nice, but it'll be kind of cool into the evenings with the girls that might have the sleeveless dresses or something. It might start getting a little cool for them. Let's see, love your purple tie. That's from Tiffany. Thank you. Yeah, it's got purple and blue and white in it. Thank you for that. Let me see what else everybody is saying. Love the new format. That's from Donna. Oh, Cynthia says, did you know that Dawson County looks like a Scotty dog sitting in Lake Lanier? Yes, let me go back and show you that. I've heard people say that. If you're ever looking for Dawson County on the map, all right, let me go back here. All right, here's Dawson County. Okay, we'll go in really tight. Okay, can you see the county lines where Juneau would kind of be like the dog's neck, and the dog is looking over to the west? And it looks like he's sitting on Lake Lanier, if y'all can see that there. But a lot of people think that Dawson County looks like a Scotty dog. There's the ears at the top there, under the green colors in the radar legend. So yeah, that's kind of cool. People have talked about that before. Let me see what everybody else is saying here. Oh shoot, hold on, let me go back. Patty says, looking good tonight. How are you doing? I'm doing great. We've had a great day so far. I'm loving this quiet pattern. Getting to kind of settle down a little bit from the storms that we had earlier this week. Claire says it does. Jeannie says, hey from Sonoya, love this cooler weather. Tiffany says, watching 11 Live News primetime on Channel 36 and just saw meteorologist Andrew Wilson. Yes, he is doing the late shows tonight. So we're kind of doing something a little different now on ATL, and this frees me up to do a little bit more on air with you guys and on Facebook Lives and stuff. So that's what we have going on. Let me, I'm going to do something really quick to the 7-day before I pop it up. And I'm going to just get it through a few more comments and questions. Did you just take the tone off, Andrew? Did you take the tone off?
I did.
Okay, I just saw that. Yeah, okay. So I just did that, yep. So here's a look at the 7-day behind me, and you can see what we're going to be watching, and you'll see that on the side of the screen as well. 62 degrees for high on Friday. Again, that rain chance is really low on the low end at 20%. Then 64 Saturday, going with 10s on the wasometer, mostly sunny skies, looking good. It's just going to be a little cooler than average. Monday, back to 72. We're going to go with an 11, a perfect 11 on the wasometer here for your Monday. And then Tuesday, a few more clouds. Wednesday, look at those temperatures warming up. 79 Tuesday, 80 degrees on Wednesday, and then back to 74 Thursday, and that's when we have that rain chance in there. Neil is saying more team members in the studio. Yes, we are letting more people in. We still are not allowing guests into the studio at all, but we are still, but a lot of our team is back in. We've had the weather team in for a long time, but we would have to socially distance and not be in the same room together. That now we can kind of work together. We don't have to wear masks in here anymore. We would have to wear masks if we were going down the hall or something, but we don't have to anymore. But we're just not allowing guests into the newsroom yet, like any political people who come in to do interviews and stuff. That has to be approved still, and like my family can't come and visit me or anything. So still have some limitations there. Angie Holcomb says, hi, y'all, my wife is on. She's the one that I've just had my 31st anniversary with. And she's very understanding of why I had to be at work yesterday and I couldn't be with her. Cynthia says, hi to Angie, happy anniversary. Lucy says, I like being able to see the graphics clearly. Good, I'm glad that you guys like that. That is a nice crisp look. And that's what we want to hear, from you guys. Coney says, when do you think the pollen count will peak? It usually peaks at the end of March, beginning of April. I really feel like some of our higher counts this year have been pushed back a little bit. I mean, here we are right now, March 25th, and we have this, count close to 1,000. So I think we'll have some really high numbers. Again, we'll be watching those temperatures, but especially next week, when we see those temperatures up to 79 and 80 degrees, and even on Monday with temperatures in the 70s, I'm thinking those numbers are really going to be spiking as we get into next week. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the first or second week of April is when we peak. So just be ready for it. But just know that the yellow pine pollen that you see everywhere, that's the pine pollen. And those pine particles, those little pollen particles, are usually too large to mess up your sinuses. It's usually the pollens that you can't see, the microscopic pollens, which are some of those other pollens like hackberry, oak, or whatever, all the ones that we've been talking about. So that when you see the really thick yellow stuff, that's the stuff that usually doesn't irritate people's noses. Now, I know when you go out and see it and it's floating in the air, you're like, oh man, I'm breathing this stuff in. But that's usually, the pine pollen is usually not what people are allergic to, but it is kind of irritating though when you have to deal with it. Tiffany says March 25th is tomorrow. Is that true? I'm sorry. Today's the 24th. My bad. Yesterday was the 23rd. That was my anniversary. Christina likes the look, can see it clear. Jennifer says happy anniversary. Thank you. Claire says happy anniversary. Raditha says thanks for all you do. You're awesome. Patty says hi to Angie. So a lot of people on here tonight. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of try this out tonight. Been on for about 23 minutes. Andrew, I hope you can hear me in there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and wind down right now since we've been talking for a while. But you guys are awesome for tuning in. Thanks for all your feedback on here. I never really paid attention to the numbers tonight. I think we were around 100. I know it's a quiet night, so not as many people tuning in tonight. But thank you for hanging out with us. I will not be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow night, but at 9 tomorrow, if you guys go to our app, we're going to do a special at 9 for the 1-year anniversary of the Noonan tornado. And I'm supposed to be live tomorrow at 5 and 6 o'clock in Noonan, where we're going to do a look back at the 1-year anniversary and all of the rebuilding that's going on, some of the damage that's still left behind, and just talk to some families about that. We're going to do that at 5 and 6. And then at 9 o'clock tomorrow night on our app and on our webpage. If you go to our webpage, you see this little thing streaming at the top. It's going with stuff 24/7. We're going to have that special there at 9 o'clock tomorrow night if y'all want to check that out. But I won't be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow night so that hopefully people can watch that special. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it tonight. Since we won't be talking back and forth here tomorrow night on Facebook Live, I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'm off this weekend, but I'll be back Monday and ready for a good week ahead. So that ends this edition of Facebook Live. Y'all have a good one.